Hello and welcome to this video. My name is Christian from Beyond Premiere here talking about episode 6 of From, which in my opinion is one of the best episodes of the season, titled Past the Deux. So hold on to your arms because things are getting intense in Colony House in this latest episode of From. First we have Boyd having a heart-to-heart conversation with Tian Shan. Boyd tries to explain that he's keeping Sarah's secret for the greater good of the town, but he understands the pain and loss that Sarah's actions have caused. It's a complex situation and Boyd's turn between his duty and his own personal feelings. Kenny himself barges in, catching Boyd off guard. The poor kid is clearly shaking and demands to know why is he doing there with his mom. And of course, Boyd tries to reassure Kenny that everything is okay, but you can sense the strain in the relationship. These emotional moments really hit hard, and the actors bring their A game, making us feel every bit of the characters' conflict. Now here's where things get interesting and they take a bizarre turn. Boyd heads to the church and it's completely empty. I mean empty as a ghost town. And what does he see? A ballet dancer. But here's the kicker, she has worms in her mouth. This is where the episode title, Past the Deux, comes into play, referring to the ballet dance Boyd is witnessing. It's symbolic, hinting at the dance between the characters, a delicate balance between good and evil, something that we see at the end of the episode. Wait, did all of that just happen in Boyd's imagination? We're thrown for a loop when Boyd finds himself back in the diner, as if we're all a dream. This surreal sequence adds an extra layer of mystery to the story, leaving us questioning what's real and what's not. It's this little twists and turns that keep us on the edge of our seats. And we can take a moment to appreciate Kenny. Despite everything that's happening in the show, he shows remarkable compassion and helps Boyd, lending a helping hand when Boyd seems a bit disoriented. It's a small moment, but it speaks volumes about Kenny's character and his capacity for empathy. The symbolism and foreshadowing in this episode are on point, with the ballet dancer representing the delicate dance between good and evil that our characters find themselves in, and going from that cliffhanger episode as eagerly anticipating the next one finally. So grab your popcorn, gather your theories, and let's keep unraveling the secrets of From together. Now onto the meat of things. We kick things up with a quite intense scene at the Colony House. Food and water are getting scarce and tensions are gonna get high, and our favorite characters are feeling the strain. The conditions are taking their toll on the characters, and we're starting to see a shift in dynamics as personalities clash. Lelis is talking to a house guest who mentions the last of the potatoes. Apparently Donna is planning on bringing more supplies back, but it sounds like they're dealing with a potential food shortage, which is never a good sign, something that we see later in the house. The tension is building and things are about to get even more intense. When Ellis offers to help, she responds with a serious tone, saying she's got it. As we know, there's conflict between Fatima and Ellis, and we get to see why. But also, we get to understand why Fatima is feeling this way, going from that unexpected ending, which I was like, whoa, I was not expecting that. As we know, this is the last of the food, and Donna advised Ellis and Fatima to stick to rations and assures them that they will get through this. It seems like Donna is trying to keep everyone calm and focused during this challenging time. Moving into Mary and Christy having a heated confrontation. Christy discovers a brochure for the Lavender Palm Treatment Center in Mary's bag, and of course Mary accuses Christy of going through her belongings. But of course we know that the tension arises as Mary admits that she was on her way to rehab. It's a heartbroken moment as Mary reveals that she didn't want to tell Christy to worry and thought everything was under control. Clearly, that is wrong. And of course, trust is being tested. Meanwhile, Boyd continues to struggle with his own internal battle. He confides in Christy about the encounter with a man who passed on something to him in the last episodes. And now he feels the worm crawling under his skin. It's a disturbing revelation, and Christy tries to support him, even though she cannot see anything physically wrong. Boyd's fear and desperation are understandable, and he asks Christy to promise him that she will put an end to things if they get too bad. But as we see, hopefully it's not gonna go that route. It's a chilling moment that highlights what Boyd is going through. We jump from the colony house to the clinic in this episode a lot. So in the colony house, tensions are continue to run high. Ellis and Fatima are working together, trying to hang something at the front, where they're interrupted by a heated argument between the residents. Food is being stolen, leading to Ellis getting stabbed. The atmosphere is tense, and it's clear that the desperation and fear are taking hold. I was not expecting to Ellis to get stabbed during the commotion, and connecting to the blood and the blood transfusion later on with Boyd and the monster. It makes perfect sense, a solution to that. So hey, in a way, Ellis had to get stabbed. Now throughout the episode, there are recurring motifs such as the music box, ballet dancer. These elements of eerie and surreal atmosphere add a sense of unease and mystery to this episode. The ballet dancer appears in different locations and seems to be connected to the character's visions and fears. In the basement where Kenny's father was killed, Boyd is there and he sees Father Catry, who died back in season 1. Is it all in Boyd's imagination, or is it Father Catry back in some supernatural form? It's hard to tell, but one thing for sure, this encounter is eerie and it raises some serious questions. Father Catry mentions stains that cannot be washed clean, hinting at the lingering effects of the past. He also mentions that everyone will end up the same, whether they get out of the town or not, they will, die. That's a sense of fatalism and resignation in his words, suggesting that there's no escape from the horrors that await them. But it's Boyd's confession that really grabs our attention. He opens up about the things inside him, something that's getting worse. He acknowledges his own weakness and admits that he needs help, a departure from his former stubborn self. Father Catry reflects on how Boyd has changed and praised him for seeking help. Even though he's talking to a figment of his imagination, it's still really interesting how this conversation delves into the idea of sanity and rationality in the face of the unimaginable. And just when things seem to be reaching a critical point, Kenny enters the scene. He catches Boyd talking to no one and demands to know who he's talking to. Boyd tries to brush it up, but Kenny's persistence and refuses to leave until he knows it's safe. Boyd finally reveals that he was talking to Father Catry and explains that something happened to him, something real and terrifying. This moment showcases Boyd's vulnerability and fear, adding more to his character, and of course the tension between him and Kenny continues to build. However, going from that episode, I imagine things are gonna change. Now let's talk about the jaw-dropping moment. As we know, Elgin arrives, Fatima brings him with Ellis, so that was a nice tension. I thought he was gonna die, so hey, nice episode. But the big thing about this episode is how Boyd doesn't resort to fighting, but instead offer his own blood to the monstrous creature. This is a powerful moment, and it's a symbolic gesture that showcases Boyd's willingness to sacrifice himself for the greater good. By giving his blood to the monster, Boyd is able to kill it, but also dance between good and evil. He understands the fighting fire with fire won't lead to a resolution. Instead, he chooses a path of compassion and selflessness, hoping that his act of sacrifice will somehow bring about a positive change in his life. It's a bold move that leaves us wondering about the potential consequences and whether this will have a lasting impact on the town, knowing that the monster is now dead. All of these moments had me on my edge of my seat and left me with so many questions. Of course, this unexpected turn of events leave everyone, including the other monsters, stunned. It's a game changer for sure and a ray of hope in the midst of darkness, but also raises countless questions about the nature of these creatures. So hey, cannot wait for episode 7. Now, something that I love as well in this episode is Fatima's vulnerability shines through as she confides in Christy about the things she's witnessed and the overwhelming fear of losing Ellis. This emotional moment adds depth to Fatima's character and highlights the intense emotional toll that the town has on its residents. And of course, going from that twist where she asks for a pregnancy test, I really enjoy that. And that's how the episode ends. And also the conversation between Donna and Ethan was absolutely beautiful. Something that I really enjoyed. That was the first time that we saw the characters together and them talking about fear. Yeah, and how fear makes us stronger. Something that I really enjoyed in this episode. But my name is Christian from Being Premiere. I will see you today, later today or tomorrow, for my episode 7 prediction and theories. And then on Tuesday, my video on the preview for episode 7, which is usually the pictures that are provided to us. But what are your thoughts on this episode? Leave your comments below. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Christian from Being Premiere, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye, everyone.